back to Cybertronian Exchange, and welcome to part 2 of this War for Cybertron Earthrise Scorponok video. The first video we did just kind of general overview of the figure itself, and in this video we're going to go over the DNA Designs upgrade kits DK19 and DK21. Looking at the boxes, DK19 is the gun upgrade and shoulder cannon upgrade to allow those to articulate. I think those are new feet, and I'm not entirely sure what these are. I haven't researched these that much. DK21 is the leg upgrade to allow the legs in Scorpion mode to articulate, and these cannons, just like the others, second set to allow them to articulate. And again, I'm not entirely sure what these 3 bits do, but we will figure it out as we go. So bear with me, I am learning as well. So without any further delay, let's get on to DK19 since that number is chronologically first. Here, set the box aside. It's got a BFG. We all know what BFGs are, right? So there is how it comes out of the package. It comes in its plastic blister pack, and comes with a set of instructions. So it comes with also, looks like a clear visor. Not entirely sure, but yep, that's what it is. It's a clear visor, and these pieces look to be upgrades on the side ankle. It's got instructions front and back. So let's just open it up and check it out. All right. This is painted silver. It's a gray plastic and it's painted silver, and I would say it's painted well enough. I don't see any marbling or scuffing or scratching or anything. It looks pretty clean. Same with this one. They look to be exactly the same, so it shouldn't be relevant as to which side they go on. So we're just going to set those there. These pieces allow for forward ankle rock is what it looks like. So it's going to be going in place of the ankle tilt and allow you some, or goes in on the ankle rocker and allows you forward ankle tilt, is what I believe. So I'm going to take those out. By the way, they're just they're molded in that color. There's no paint or anything like that, but there's a lot of great sculpted detail here. So if someone wanted to take the time to paint those, they will be in for a treat. Here is the shoulder cannons that will replace the ones that are on it, and they articulate up and down and out to the sides. So that is really well done. They look ratcheted, but they are tensioned. So and there's just a screw on each side that holds that tension for them, and then a screw underneath. So keep that in mind as you're moving these about, that it's a screw, not a pin that's holding them in. So just take care. I'm not sure there's a big difference, but there may be. And then of course the BFG. That's pretty. So this shield looks like it comes off. Yep. Just like the original G1, this came off. It was stuck in on the paint, so the paint might have been a little soft when it went in. The plastic is molded orange and painted silver accents, and this is molded gray with painted silver accents. It's not too flimsy. It feels pretty durable. It's holding up to its own weight. And then it has this piece that kicks down. At least it looks like it kicks down. It's supposed to, I think. Yeah, there we go. Just first time stiffness, and then it tabs in there and allows him to hold his gun, I believe, in some form or fashion. We will check that out. So, and I take that back. I don't think this actually allows it to have forward ankle tilt. This is just a cover piece that hides the openness of the ankles on the inside. So I'm going to slide this back on. We're going to just do this add-on real quick. So first part is pretty easy. We're just going to put the visor over the front. In order to do that, we take his ears off, take the plastic visor piece out, package, and looks like the wider part goes down, so we'll slide that on, and the ears go back on over it, like so. So now he's got his face guard, just like in G1. I just want to take his head off. So it slides over that hole. It does push these out from sitting as flush as they were to the head before. So these will be a little bit more easily to slide out. But and you have a little bit of up and down movement. Let's see, I don't think it's going to impede him looking down. It does not impede him looking down. He can look down just as he did before. And it clicks into place just like it did before. And he can look up, and then that covers back down flush. So that works out quite nicely. Let's see. The next part of the upgrade are on the sides here. I'm going to take these off. And we'll plug those in. These 4 pegs go into these 4 peg holes, like so. And then these 4 peg holes will go onto here, like that. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. These actually peg in down here as well at the very bottom, so I might have to go back and redo that other side real quick. Yep, I need to redo this just real fast. There we go. Now it's all settled flush. There we go. All right. Pretty painless so far. So next up are the inside cover pieces. And it looks like it's going to peg into this screw hole here. I don't know if y'all can see that from where you're at, so let me change leg positions here. So this is supposed to peg into this screw hole here, and then rock back here and tab in and clip onto this part of the hinge right there, and that covers that hole, just like that. So we're going to do it again on this leg. Hopefully y'all can see it. We'll peg into this hole here, and we're going to rock it back. And this clip is going to clip on to that. And now we have a cover, so we don't have that big gaping hole. And that'll work. And of course, last but not least, we want to take the guns off at the top. Peg in the new guns, just like so. I don't feel like they sit in all the way, and it may have to do with how the peg hole is here. Now this is pushed up, whereas these have a recess cut out. So if you see here, these are cut out in a recessed manner. These are not. So in order to get it to sit flush up against the bot on the shoulder, you may want to maybe just take a little file or a Dremel tool to it and get it to sit flush. So that replaces those parts, and the blast effect works just the same. So everything pegs in just like it's supposed to. And let's see. Okay, so the way he holds his gun, this piece actually stays tabbed up like this, and then this pegs into the top of his hand or his claw here, and that allows him to hold his gun in this manner. So, which looks really good. I dig it. It holds it nicely. Yep, that holds really well. Even allows for the secondary finger or claw piece to go under, and allows for a trigger finger look to this element. So, yeah, man, that looks good. That looks real good. Man, they did a good job on this kit. Now, other things that we'll go into as far as Scorpion mode and how the gun can be held and things like that, we'll do as we go through. This does work on both right and left hands. And it looks like this upgrade kit really works well in robot mode, in battleship, Scorpion and battle station mode. So let's go ahead and jump into DK21 and get that added on as well, and then we'll go through the modes with the add-ons after that. So let me grab this box here. Slice into that bad boy. Oh yeah. Set that down there. Now, a little baggie underneath comes with a clear visor and some extra screws. I'm pretty sure we'll be using those screws in short order. I want to forgive me, y'all. You're going to get wiggly for a moment. I got a X-Acto knife in here, and I think I might have to go find a screwdriver. Let me see. I think I got one that'll work. All right, moving y'all back. Y'all are clamped to my drawer to get a good angle. So, all right. Take those bits out. I'm really glad they did a clear visor, man. That looks good. I'll dig it. I dig it. That's going to be a lot of fun to have that in place, so you can see, like, there's so much detail behind those eyes that you miss, and it's tragic, really, because they put someone put a lot of work to sculpt those eyes in there and didn't make it clear. So, all right. Here's a big old chunk, and it's molded grade plastic with silver paint, and the silver paint is really close to the same silver paint that is on the figure itself. You can tell how close it is by matching the color grays. The grays are slightly different. The DNA kit's gray is a little bit lighter. Purples are really close. I mean, they put a lot of attention to this as far as color combinations go and things like that. So They did an excellent job, and very, very pleased with how this turned out. So lots of sculpted detail in this that I would say matches the look and feel of the detail on Scorponok himself. And so let's set that aside. We've got two more articulated cannons that are exactly the same as the two that we just got in the previous kit. And of course you can peg these anywhere. I think the original G1 Scorponok came with 4, and they were tabbed front and back just like that. But I could be wrong. Again, I haven't owned the kit, the G1 version in quite some time, and I would have to go back and look, and I'm not just sitting here with YouTube or Google researching this stuff. So we're just going to peg those in just for good measure. And something that I didn't mention in the other one, because I knew in the other video, I knew I had this in hand and I didn't want to call Hasbro out on it, but this is just an extra bit of articulation that I think that should have came with the figure. The original G1 figure, when you rolled the wheels, the legs would walk and move, and the legs were all individually articulated both up and down, and you could articulate them out. This fixes a problem that I feel this mold from Hasbro suffered from, which everybody knows. That's why you get the upgrade kits, and that's why they fixed it. So I really didn't want to rake them over the coals in that, but I'm really happy that my boy Tony hooked me up with this kit as well, because that fixes probably my #1 issue with the original Hasbro mold. So I'm going to get both these out, chuck that over there, and let's get with adding on the upgrade kit, shall we? So we're just going to bust open some instructions. Instructions are printed quite well. I mean, it's glossy paper, it's thin. They look fairly easy to follow. I don't feel like there's a lot extra going on here that I can't figure out. So I'm just going to take some stuff off that can fall off just by bumping about, and just give myself the best chance at doing this upgrade without throwing stuff everywhere. Like that. So that went clear behind the desk. And I will have to fetch that out in a moment. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to address these eyes, even though that's not the first thing on here. That's the first thing I would like to take care of. Just because it's right here, it's easy, it's in front of me. Just going to pop off yet, that just pops right off. So don't be afraid to pull it off its little post. Just unscrew the lens, slide the old one off, pop the new one on. And honestly, that holds firm enough that you don't even have to put the screw back in if you don't want to, but I'm going to, just because I will never find this screw again. So. Boom. And nut. Back in business, put the visor back over. In fact, before I put all this back on here, I just want to give you a close-up of how transparent this is. So hopefully y'all can see. I mean, that looks, come on, focus. Do you want my finger in there to focus or not? Yeah, there you go. That looks really good. Now you get to see the sculpted detail of the eyes. And, I mean, there's a couple little circles right there in the middle. But you almost don't see it. For whatever reason, I'm able to see it through the camera. I don't notice it as much without the camera there. So don't let that discourage you. It's not overly noticeable. Once you put the face shield on, I guess in this day and age it'd be a sneeze guard, huh? So there you go. And boom. Much better. That looks 100 times better. I really like it. That really fits the part. So now, to install these legs, move this over here. I want to flip them around back. We're going to untab them from down here, and we're going to untab from up here, and we're just going to let that hang. All right. Looks like it also wants us to remove these wheels. It wants us to remove the whole tail section too. I think that's just to get stuff out of the way to work. So we're just going to go ahead and do it. So we'll remove the tail section. And we're going to remove these wheels. And I'm just using a soft plastic pin here. I don't want to use any kind of metal to damage or scratch the paint. And so I say paint the plastic. And it looks like these all come out as well. But it wants us to unscrew that. I don't have a screwdriver that tiny in here, so I shall return momentarily to get in there with the screwdriver. I'll be back. All right, we're back. I got a longer screwdriver. I went ahead and just did one side just in the interest of time. I think my video is getting a little long. One thing I noticed is I didn't transform this right. The leg, this should face this way, and then this needs to come all the way around and back down. So I was like, I didn't transform that right when I brought them back in robot mode, so let me go ahead and fix that now. Spin the leg around and spin the thigh around, because all the beautiful painted color work needs to go up front. So now with that done, let's flip them back around to this side. All right. So I've already undone the two screws and put this piece together. I want to do it on this side so you can see what it is. Just want to do that in the interest of time. Now, the DNA kit comes with extra screws, 1 for the visor and 4 for these legs. So if you happen to drop these for whatever reason and you lose them, there's an extra set. But I think going with the originals on here, probably the best way to go. So, but it's as simple as undoing these 2 screws. And then the whole unit should just slide out. And just shake the screws out. Like that. Set those to the side. And then you can take your feet. And one of the things I want to point out, and this is something that that bugs me about Hasbro as of late, is their plastic is more gummy. So, you know, when I was a kid, you get a toy from the dollar store, it felt super cheap. I believe even in the early 2000s, like Walmart did these Easter baskets where you could get the Constructicons or the Combaticons or the Aerial Bots or the Computron. Technobots, you could get those figures in an Easter basket, but the figures were cheap. Welcome back. Technical difficulties. How do you like that? But the toys that came in the Easter baskets were cheap knockoffs, and you really ended up breaking that plastic pretty quick, and it felt gummy. And I had a guy on TFW 2005 way back, I'd say 10-15 years ago. I bought a G1 Minosaur from him that was supposed to be complete, and he had actually sent me the original G1 Minosaur figure bots, but he sent me the knockoff combiner components. Oh, that was supposed to come off of that one. And they were super gummy, and I instantly knew they were knockoffs. And of course, you know, the guy ghosted me after that, and you know, he didn't want to make good on it or whatever, so he can get bent. But that's what this reminds me of, is that the plastic has gotten really cheap. I have the Earthrise Optimus Prime, and I would say that that plastic is very cheap, especially on the trailer, and just feels low quality. And I guess it's plastic is cheaper than what it used to be. I mean, more expensive than what it used to be, harder to come by. They've changed their manufacturing process. I don't know. But I will say that the overall plastic quality has diminished. And maybe it's to save from breaking, maybe not, but it feels cheaper even though we're paying a premium price for these figures. And I think that's my largest letdown with Hasbro in general. You know, my largest disappointment, that if I were to criticize them and their business practices, out of all the repaints and remolds and all the other garbage that they do, cheapening the plastic into this super flimsy stuff, like this plastic that the DNA kit uses is 100% better than this plastic that Hasbro uses. And look at the greens. I mean, me personally, I can tell that they don't match. I don't know if you can tell that they don't match, but because we're talking like a shade or two. DNA did a wonderful job at matching this in every way. So, you know, that's probably one of the primary reasons I go with third-party companies a lot of the time with my collecting, is one, they're offering a figure that Hasbro doesn't make or won't make because it's not part of their sellable 6 or whatever you want to call it. And two, their designs, while well thought out, suffer from other forms of manufacturing or accounting bean counters, and that's just my opinion. I can be totally off base, but again, my opinion. So, all right, that was pretty easy. You just pull them off the old one, push them into the new one, and now you got fully articulated claws, or not claws, legs. So there you go. I will say that it's a little weird that they're not on ball pegs, because like if you were to get them up like that, these toes, the middle two sit pretty flush, but the outer two are subject to the angle at which you're at. You know, you're going to have to play with that a little bit to get it to look right, because of course there's no toe tilt on the end. I figure if these were ball pegged, that it would have been a little bit better. But I am really splitting hairs at this point. You can't expect them to think of everything for a decent price point. And this came out really well. So to put it all back together, of course I snapped the wheel back in place. This just pushes in all the way. I say all the way, pretty much all the way. It just kind of sits on there. Gives a little bit more heft to his back. We're just going to run these screws right back in. And I wouldn't put a lot of torque on these. Just like I said, the plastic quality is a lot cheaper on the Hasbro figure, and while the plastic that the DNA kit uses is superior in quality, you don't want to strip these screws out inside the figure. So I'm just now starting to feel it bite, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to do this 3 more times. And there it is. Last one. Now, of course, the legs aren't going to fold completely back into the center of the body like they did before. The legs will actually just kind of, I think they just fold in like so. And so you'll have portions of the legs sticking out beyond the tail section, and that's okay, because overall this is pretty dang epic. That comes out so well. All right, now this tail section. Tabs in like this. Almost did it backwards again. I will say this is a bit more firm of a fit. That's probably due to the lack of flex to the newer plastic as compared to the older plastic. But that tabs up just like that, and that tabs in So the tabbing in is a little bit more firm, and that has to do with the plastic that DNA uses is not as gummy, so the tolerances are a little bit more important at this stage, which is fine. The top, like you have to press firm, but it still wants to slide out. I blame that on the gummy nature as well. So we're tight in some areas, not so tight in other areas. And that's just the difference in plastic that DNA uses versus Hasbro. And I think the more flexible the plastic is, the looser it's going to fit, unless all of it's flexible. So there you go. As you can tell from the sides, these legs stick out more. Again, no deal breaker here for me. It fills out his torso. It does not impede waist swivel at all. He gets his full run of waist swivel. And from the back, it fills it out more. It's still pretty clean. All right, so the next step in the upgrade, we've already done the visor just because it was there and available and ready to rock, so we're done with that. The next part is the shield. So the shield overall looks like this part here. Comes off these two pegs, peg into these two holes here, and it all just kind of sits down into this channel that it was intended to sit in. And now he's got a big old honking shield again. That's pretty awesome. That looks so much better than the cheesy thing that they did. And so we got two peg holes here, and we got these two back here that'll peg into here. I think that's all it needs to peg into. Maybe it doesn't peg in there. So now he's got a worthy shield. He's got a little bit more weight to his back. Get a real good pose going here. See how that looks for the camera. Yeah, it looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So. Alrighty. Let's go back just a smidge. It's hard to get you all in frame, dude. So, but yeah, that looks pretty good. Of course, I don't have the shoulder cannons on it or anything, but that turned out pretty well. So our next stop is going to be the Scorpion mode, just because that'll be the next easiest step to get into. So we're going to start taking some of this stuff apart. There's no stress marks or anything on this, pulling this in and out the couple times that I have, so that's working out pretty well. I will say that the back is wanting to collapse down. It does not want to stay tabbed in while moving it, but I want to continue to credit that to the type of plastic Hasbro uses versus DNA's plastic. We'll turn the head a full 360. Arms up and out. Okay. Now then, the waist actually turns like that. And then, let's see. Take the legs. Spin those around, I believe. I think they spun around. I could be wrong. Maybe they don't spin around at that point just yet. Fold that up. Pull the legs out. Back out, fold the foot in, bring this over, this will pop off, tab that in down here just like that. And then the instructions show that this actually tabs in up here. That's kind of loosey-goosey. I don't know if I like that. Let me look at this other one here. See what it shows. So actually, instead of it tabbing down here, it shows that this stays collapsed like that. And then this goes here like that. And then this leg cannon actually attaches back here to this part. Or maybe this part. No, it has to be this part, because that's where it fits correctly. So you got a leg cannon there, and this all fits there. Alright, so we're going to do that again. Lift this out, fold the foot back in, fold that back down. Fold that over. This attaches back here, like so. Now, we've got that. We got his leg pinned up over here. Y'all mind the lights flickering? That's just my hot water heater kicking in. Alright, so we're going to move on to the tail cannon. And what that's going to do is this tail portion tabs in. I'm going to fold that down. This tail portion tabs in like it did, just like in Hasbro instructions. That's why I end up blowing those in right now. This piece folds up just like that, and this piece folds around, and then this actually tabs in, and lo and behold, he can kind of get out there. Like, he still ain't gonna get around to stab nobody with it, but bruh, he's got a cannon. Now, no, I don't think the blast effects won't fit in it. Like, that's just gonna fall out, but that'll just fall out. Like, you'd have to wedge that in there, and they just fall out. So blast effects don't really fit in it worth a hoot, but that's a cannon, son. That's a cannon. I'll quit knocking these things off. Alright, now, individual legs, of course, now can move about, forwards and backwards. You are hindered by the shoulder piece here, but that's okay. It all comes down to how you want to pose it, and Lord knows that is way more than you were offered with the Hasbro kit. So, but you can see on this side here, this angle, how it's out, kind of detracts from how it should look. So, but you can move all these individually how you want. All together, it really, really makes the figure look well. I don't think these will support any of the weight, because the back of him, it's all legs. So he is not, all this back here is just legs upon legs. So he's not going to support it very well. But having the cannons articulated, you can do all kinds of fun stuff with. This isn't tight enough back here to really hold its own weight. So, I mean, it'll point straight up, but it's just going to fall forward, and which is fine. I mean, that doesn't bother me none. This really, really looks great. The upgrade kit is 100% worth it. If you don't have one, I hate it for you. I got lucky I have a brother like I do, because this is epic. So there's that. Alright, I want to get this out of the way because that concludes those parts and how that fits together as far as Scorpion mode. We'll probably have to bring it back out for base mode just because, well, I don't retain anything apparently. So those are fun. Now, this part has some transformation to it. We can go ahead and put our cannons on here. Like so. Boom, bam. Now this comes apart. That pops out. And that slides off. That slides off. Actually, you need to untab it before you start trying to slide that off. That was me being impatient, not paying attention. So these actually folds in half. And it looks like it's just going to tuck up under the tail. It just slides in, I think. I don't see any tabs for it to hold in place. I know it's supposed to go through there. No. That's how it goes. There we go. So what you're missing is these slots here, okay, slide into these slots in the tail. So it slides in like that. And this, just like before, you'll open that up and it will tab into the same holes it tabbed into before, but then it'll close around that and hold that in place. So that's where that goes. And these other two pieces, looks like fold up and snap in place, and then goes on. You got 1, 2 pegs here and then a hole here, and they go on to 1, 2 and then the hole on top. So you've created just a outside armor bit, more or less, for him here. We'll do the same thing on the other side. There it goes. 1, 2, 3. And bam. There it is, folks. Good gravy. Tail's so heavy, I'm going to tab back here, so let me see about tabbing it back in. I say it's heavy. It might have come undone while I was manipulating the tail gun. There we go. So there it is. Y'all. This dude. Holy crap. This thing is epic. This is epic. This upgrade kit really makes all the difference in the world. I don't know if I even want it out of Scorpion mode now. I know I said that, well, it'll probably be in robot mode to fit my display or something along those lines. Man, forget that noise. I think I want it in Scorpion mode from now on. That thing's just crazy sauce. That thing is awesome. That is a beast. That is a beast. Alrighty. Last mode, of course, now is base mode. So bear with me. I know these videos have been getting long. It's a city former, so it's going to be long. But we're going to get it into city mode real quick. I'll say real quick. I want to try to be quick about it. Oops. Just like before, these will prep up just the same. They plug in. Now, let's see. City mode. Pop this out the back, pop that out the back. Those go over there. This folds back up. That folds flat. Dog's doing the thing, protecting the house. So the head, we're just going to take the head off, lift that up. The head is going to fit in here just like before, sort of like before, without headmaster. Like it will fit without the with the headmaster if I want him to go in there. Like he will have to fit this way, but the visor gets in the way. So to counteract that, we're going to take that off. Head. Goes in like that, and then you rotate it sideways. I'm just going to take the stupid earpiece off. Now it lays flat. And this piece goes on here, just like before. Those rotate up and around. Feet don't really fold up inside. The legs don't fold up inside because the head's in there. So you can lay those flat or however you feel like articulating those. I'm just gonna lay them flat for now. They can definitely be staggered or whatever floats your boat, whatever fits your need, fills your bill. These I want to go on here. So you got peg, hole, peg, peg, hole. That's going to go on just like that. And then that just stays up vertical like so. And then you have this piece here. You got hole, peg, peg. And those go right there. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Then the gun comes apart. Let's see, they show where it goes on this side. Oh no, that's a different set of instructions. But we know where it goes because it shows here. DK19, there's a peg right here and a peg hole here, so that'll peg in right there like that, and then this little tab here sits flush. Go ahead and pop this ramp out and down, and it looks like we're going to do the same thing on this side. Go ahead and pop this ramp out and down, and then that goes there. Start scooting this back. This can actually tab in up here. Those lay flat. Alright, so now we have this piece. And it looks like that goes flat like this. And does it peg in under here somehow? Shows it goes under here, but I can't tell if it just sits there, pretends like it's doing a thing. Looks like it just sits here and pretends like it's doing a thing. I don't know if I care for that component very much, because I mean, I guess it does something. Doesn't do anything for me. It just looks like it's sitting like a bump on the log. And then of course we have the last two articulated guns. It shows these pegging into the bottom of this here. And of course you can articulate them out however you want. This one came off. So, and I think this just compensates for this piece being the way back here. You know, if that wasn't in the way to cover the ankle articulation, this would all fall flat. So maybe it's a different way of doing things. I'm not sure, but there he is in all his glory. Lord Scorponok, or whatever they call him. He's just Scorponok. So that's it, man. That's the upgrade kit. That's everything from robot mode to scorpion mode to base mode. That's the whole shebang, my man. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. So, phew, that was laborious. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you have one of these and you haven't done anything with it yet, I implore you to do so. It is a great way to kill a couple hours out of your day. It really is an excellent figure. I know I've had my statement of complaints, I guess, and that's just mainly it's Hasbro. The upgrade kit solves a lot of what a Hasbro should have done. But then again, you couldn't spend money on trade. Welcome everybody to the Cybertronian Exchange. And in today's video, we're going to go through DK23, the DNA Designs upgrade kit for Earthrise Scorponok. And so what this kit does is it basically replaces the lower legs, or at least components in the lower legs, to increase the height to be as tall as Fort Max. We all know that he is shorter than Fort Max and Metroplex, and we would like to kind of get his size up where it belongs. So that's what we're going to do in this video today. So feel free to follow along as we go. I'll try to explain everything to the best of my ability as I do it. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section and I will do my best to answer them. Answer them. So here we go. Move the box to the side. Alrighty, so what you get in the box: extended knees, it looks like, and beefier leg components. It looks wider, so perhaps it'll be more stable. You get a bag full of screws and rubber tabs. These rubber tabs, I think, go on the bottom of the feet for grip. We will find out as we go through these instructions. Normally when I go through transformation, I try not to use instructions and just discover the toy for itself, because that's part of the fun of the puzzle. But since we're not really doing a puzzle and we are upgrading the figure, I'm going to follow the instructions so that I don't mess anything up. So, right quick, we're going to look at these upgraded parts. There's the lower leg, and lots of sculpted detail. I think comparatively it's the exact same. I mean, it looks exactly the same, it just is wider to accommodate. This piece will still clip onto here, and the side sculpt is exactly the same. It's just taller and thicker. So everything is pretty much the same. This is actually, I will say, when I say the same, but there's little details, like there's more texture, more depth to the sculpt. So this sculpt's taller than this sculpt. This sculpt's way taller than that one. They like have a little in-sculpted vent, whereas this was just a little line across. So looking at the front, this piece is taller. These are about the same size, but you have additional vents, 1, 2, 3 additional vents, where you really don't have any vents here, because you have this little spot that matches. The top side matches pretty much verbatim on the top sculpt, and on the lower portion here, it's pretty much the same stuff, just elongated. So paint apps on the inside, silver paint, green paint on gray plastic, I think, or is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is gray plastic with green paint, silver paint. Lots of sculpted detail on the inside here. Check that out. All that sculpted detail. That looks really good. On this guy, you have a lot of sculpted detail and paint on here as well. And you have detail down here, but it's not the same. This is more flat and flush. This is a lot more in depth. I'm sorry. This is more flat and flush. This is has a lot more depth to it. It feels more purposeful rather than just stamped in there. So lots of detail in this part. Taking a look at the the knee area, we can see that it's a good probably 1/4 to a 1/2 inch taller. This is more pronounced, it sticks out further. That's probably about the same size. The square area is pretty close to the same size. There's some design detail differences. Some go in farther, some don't. But instead of this being square, it tapers down, and there's some design elements down here in the corner that's different. From the side, they've elongated this bottom part to show more piston work, and but this upper section is pretty much the same size. So they basically took it right here and just came down with it, and then just did some little design details on the side. So, sorry. Hopefully you can see that better now. The back is pretty much the same. They just extended down. Inside the thigh and outside the thigh are mirror images. So that's pretty much it for him. So let's go ahead and jump into the instructions here. I got a nice little tool set that allows me to work on these guys. Hopefully I got a big enough screwdriver. So step one has us removing the 3 screws on the inner thigh. So that would be one, 2, and 3 right there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to lay him flat to do this so he doesn't topple any more than he already is. And I've taken the head off of them just because I've taken all the parts that can fall off of them off just so that I don't have to deal with parts falling all over the place. Just to reduce the amount of work needed to do it. Let's see. My screwdriver is not long enough to get in there. So you're going to need a longer screwdriver than that. I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to go get a longer screwdriver. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I got a bigger screwdriver. I say bigger and longer. It doesn't necessarily have to be this big, but this does fit in there to allow me to grab a hold of that screw and unscrew it. So for those of y'all new to anything mechanical, righty tighty, lefty loosey is a rule of thumb. Serve you well. So there's one. I'm just going to set the screws in the tray over here so I don't lose them. Alright. So now with the leg removed, I'm going to dump these other 2 screws into my palm, put them in here. So there's the old piece. We'll set it aside. It's unscrewed, so it tells us that we need to keep that piece right there. So I'm going to set that in the tray as well. Let's see here. It shows that we need to keep this piece that comes out from the knee socket. That's your ratchet. I'll set that in the tray. And there's a second one that's pretty much the exact same. I want to set that in the tray. So you have 3 pieces that you keep out of there. Then you can take this unit and just set it aside. We're going to come down to the leg and let's see. We're going to go ahead and take off our add-on piece from DK19, I think. We're going to unscrew these 3 screws. separate. There's one. I need to unscrew them a little bit more and not be fully committed. There's two. And all these screws so far that have come out of the same size, nothing's been a different size yet. So you can kind of put them back however you want them to go. There we go. That's what I needed. So it says to keep another one of these square bits. Now this one has a tab on the bottom side and is shorter than the other one. So pay attention to that one. Let's see. That's it out of there. It says to keep this piece. So I'm just going to set it towards the back. And it says keep the door. So I'm going to set that towards the back. Alright. So that's it out of that set. Now I'm going to just set it over here. Alrighty. So you're left with your foot in the front of your shin. I'm going to take the upgrade kit. I'm going to separate it out. I'm going to take this part here. I'm going to it says to install it on here. So it just sits there. Then you take these two pegs here and here, and you line it up to this peg hole and this peg hole, I believe. Something is in the way. I'm having a conflict of interest here. So it shows that they go there, but I'm hitting this peg right here. And I don't believe I should be. Something is not adding up. Because the right side goes on just fine. It's like, of course I put it on and it's like, alright, I'm staying. There we go. So that would go there. That would go on like so. And then your shorter square piece, the one that's got the bump on the bottom, is going to go on here. I wonder if I have my legs mixed up. I wonder if That's what it is. They got the right leg and the left leg in the wrong container. So I'm putting the wrong one on there. So I wonder if it's clearanced on the other side correctly. So I'm just going to take this apart, put that back together, just like that. I will take this out, put that in there. We're going to try this one more again. So this slides in like that correctly. This square piece, the smaller bump tab, the smaller little piece, because you have a tall one and you have a short one. The short one goes down, the tall one goes up. That tall one's actually part of your ratchet. Oh shoot. I done did it again. I keep forgetting this piece. It's tab on. And then all that slides in. And then we take our actual knee joint, and that slides on. I believe that is all the way. Alright, with the knee joint on, take our other piece. We're going to sandwich it on there. Sorry, I know I was probably off camera for that. So that all sandwiches together like so. Alright. And then we take our screws. Now it has a bag of screws to use, so we're going to go ahead and use theirs because these parts may be drilled for these screws. We're about to find out together. Could be totally wrong. I'm totally wrong. Because it ain't going. Is it? Nope. It ain't cutting in. So, just for S&G, we're going to throw the chrome ones in there. Nope, even the chrome ones aren't cutting in. So, just mild technical difficulties that you run into. Trying to see if it's really going in there like it should be. Because I don't feel it biting. And it could be just an issue of it hitting the side wall. And just sitting there spinning on the side versus actually screwing in. Nope. It's still not going. So, we'll look at something real quick. I know what it is. Alright, so it's easy to get mixed up which side of the bus you're on, but apparently I'm on the short side. So it doesn't go in on this side, it goes in on this side, the inside of the leg. So we're going to try that again. Because it's got matching screw holes on both sides. I feel like that's biting now. I got myself backwards on which side it went in. Yep. There it is. I was trying to put it in on the screw holes on this side. They just put screw holes on that side. Did Hasbro do the same thing? Hasbro did the same thing. So it's got screw holes on one side and not screw holes on the other side. You can kind of see through it, so. Well, lesson learned. Don't do it like me the first time, do it like me the second time. So, you don't need to over tighten them. You'll feel it kind of catch. And that'd be the end of that. Alrighty, so there's that part. Take our door, and it just snaps right back on, like so, and folds. Does it? Nope. Ooh. Huh. Does it go the other way? It might go the other way. I don't remember which way it went. That's it. I just had turned around. So you install that part, and then you can come back and you can peg this part back on. Again, that's the first DK kit, 19 I believe. Alright, on to the top part. We're going to grab, now I don't know if there's a difference between left and right on this. They look exactly the same. The splines are on the exact same side. So I'm going to say there's no difference. I'm going to separate it. And we're going to put these in. This one has a slight curve to it. Like there's a slight curve down on the larger end. We're going to put that in first because I feel like that constantly has the pressure on it for the rotating mechanism, and that's where it was in the original component. Then the other one I'm just going to slide in right there, and then this piece is going to go in this piece goes in right here. At least it feels like it does. Alright, so then we're going to take it and slide it in place on the knee. Alright, with that in place, we're going to put it on Scorponok's upper thigh. I'm going to drop in 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. And we tighten down. Now there's a little note here, and this note says, if the gear parts are deformed, it is recommended to insert the accessory gasket to increase the tightness. So if you find that once you've put this on, that the leg is too loose for one reason or the other, these little rubber pieces that I thought were tabs for under the feet, which I thought was really cool, is not the case. They actually go in to space out those little plastic pieces we just put on. When you space out those little plastic pieces we just put on, it's going to create more tension on the joint, making it more stiff to move, give it more balance. Not more balance, but more structural integrity in a less than ideal balance situation. Now that still feels pretty tight. This feels kind of loose compared to the original one. See how loose that is? This one is tight. So, just to give you an idea of the height difference, that's it right there. That's the height difference. So, there you go. That's pretty substantial. So we're going to go ahead and do this other leg. And get it knocked out as well. Well, snug these down a little bit more. I may not be as tight as I should be on those, but dang, they feel tight. I don't know. That feels loose, but I don't necessarily have a gasket for that. That's side to side. That's the actual gear that's in there for the knee joint. So, all right, we're going to take apart this other side real quick. I'm probably just going to blow through this one just to get it done. Come on, baby. There it is. All right. Alright, so we're going to keep those three parts. Alright. Slide that apart. Keep that bit. I want to take this piece. Put that on. I'll slide this one in place. Then we're going to put this piece in right there. Slide the knee joint on, make sure you got it going the right direction. Then this piece slides on. You take your black screws, drop those in. Alright, I'm going to tab this back on. Close that, and then that'll snap back on. Cover over. Alright. That part. Make sure you grab the taller version, separate it. The flatter one goes here, the more curved one goes here. And again, if it's too loose, if you put this together and it's too loose, you can always add some of those gaskets to it. I don't necessarily think it's going to be an issue for mine, but you never know. You never know. So, put those in. Slide that on. This one's going to be a bit tricky. That's just how it wants to play. The other one went in and it was nice and firm and it held just fine. This one doesn't want to do that. This one don't want to go at all. So, let's see. I think I convinced it. So with that there, scoot all that to the side. Slide it onto the gear. Slide this piece over the top. I got 3 screws left, so I'm going to drop all 3 in. 1, 2, and 3. I think I'm on the wrong side. Nope, I'm on the right side. That's the side they need to go in. Nah. Let's do it again. So since both pieces are the same, they just double down. There's no inside, outside pattern. They all just go on the right side. This side's a little wiggly too, so I don't think I've misaligned anything. So, time to stand him up. Drop his arms. Give him one click roll forward. Ooh. Just kind of cleaning up my workspace here. Bits I don't need. I'm just going to throw these rubber bits in here. If I find that I need them later on, I will come back and use them. But for now, just get that out of my way. Should probably do the same thing with these screws. So, don't worry about that in a minute. Visually, that's out of the way. So, we now have Scorponok. A taller version of Scorponok. So, as you can see, it's elongated here and through little areas of here, and that gives them the more height. So, we're going to play with articulation for a second. I'm just going to move it out to the side. This rotates, feels just as firm as before, but like I said, if this rotate is too soft for you, you feel like you need some more clicking to it, there are gaskets that come with it that allow that to happen. Moving forward, this double knee works all the way around. So that's, you get your full deflection, your full 180 degrees of rotation. The knee, like that, is solid, clickety clack. So we're going to do this other side too, just to make sure that still feels good. All the way up, all the way around, holds. Well, the bottom holds more than the top does. So again, if that's a gasket thing, if you feel that it should be able to hold this pose, you know, if you feel that that just isn't holding strong enough for you, whoop, give it one more click, and we're balanced. So if for whatever reason this doesn't seem like it's holding, or like it's too easy to move, because when you go to move this, this top portion of the knee moves before the bottom portion of the knee moves. If you feel that needs to be stronger, that's where those gaskets will come in at. So, posability is still really good. I feel like I can get that a little tighter. Just don't want to strip it out. Yeah, that's good. So, alright, we're going to do a quick size comparison. Like I said, I took all the goodies off just to kind of make it easy to maneuver, so I'm going to pop his head back on real quick. Not that you've been able to see his head this whole video, but we're going to do a quick side-by-side with Fort Max, because that's who I've got. I've got Metroplex also, but he's a bit further back in the ranks for me to dig out. Fort Max is right there on the edge. So, Fort Max could benefit from some knee pieces, so maybe I'll use some of those gaskets in Fort Max's knee. Alright. See, they're big, and that makes you want to be heavy-handed with them, but just because they're big doesn't mean they need to be heavy-handed. Alright, so I know you can't see the head height, so I'm going to unplug you real quick. So now you can see they are pretty much dead even. That's spot on. So all the way down, all the way up. Forgive Fort Max, he is dusty. So, there you go. I'm going to put y'all back in the holder here, because that's all I got going. Alright, I want to get Fort Max out of the way real fast, because obviously we want to know how it looks in Scorpion mode. Does it suffer transformation in any way, having longer legs? Does it encroach in the Scorpion mode or anything like that? So we're going to go through that real quick. Try to go through that real quick. Let's see. Every time I grab that face shield, I pop all that stuff off. I hate these things. I wish they held on a little better. That is probably the sloppiest part of all of it. Alright. Pull the legs out. Then we're going to lay it flat. So that opens up, that folds flush, that folds in, this folds around, and then that folds down, and then these tab in here. Holy crap. So we're going to do that again. Fold that, fold that back around, fold that down, and tab it in there. Now all that's left is, so in the knees down here, that's where we put those little snap pieces in. That's where the tail tabs in, just like that. And it feels solid enough. That folds down, that folds up, that folds up and around, and of course, in order for it to be appropriate, we gotta attach the big old stanger. So, however you want to do it, it's not tensioned well enough to hold there. I think there's a better way for that to go on. I'm just not seeing it right offhand. I know what I'm doing wrong. There. There. That's how that goes. Alright. So as you see, it's not much longer. I got all the other pieces to tab on them and stuff, but these being longer and this being longer, it negates the space needed for everything to tab in. So they basically split the difference in height between this piece and this piece so that this tabs in the same place. And everything works out pretty much the same. This isn't in the same Z fold that it used to be in. It's a little bit weaker of a connection. Oop. I got a leg stuck under there. So, and I will say the only bummer on this is that these aren't ball jointed, so that if I wanted to kind of position them differently and still have the claws sit flush, I can't. In order for them to sit flush, they still all have to be together. So even if this end piece was ball jointed down here, that would have been a better decision to ball joint this so that you can spread these out. And the shoulders do not get up and out of the way in order for this foot to move forward to make visual sense. So, you know, it's one of those, your mileage may vary situations. You know, it just comes down to what do you like. I like a little bit more posability. DNA did a great job on the design, but just having, even if it was a cut joint and these spun here at a cut joint like a bicep swivel, that would have lent itself better to the style and design that we want. So anyway, that's it for the upgrade kit. Very pleased with it. I like how much taller it makes it. Really kind of fits it into the Titan frame. I hope DNA decides to do something for the Arc from Hasbro. That would be nice to see. I see a lot of people making kits, so it might just be who gets there first. But the Arc is smaller than Scorponok is at Scorponok's Hasbro height. So now the Arc is really small. But other than that, I think this is good. It was worth the money. I picked mine up from from the Chosen Prime. So you can get them from wherever you want. There's plenty to go around. In fact, I think I have an extra one on its way because I forgot I pre-ordered it somewhere else. So anyway, I hope you like the tutorial. I hope it helps you in your build. As you can see, I mean, we've probably spent maybe an hour doing this. And that's including transformations and comparisons and color and all that other stuff. So shouldn't take you too long. Seriously, you can do it in an hour. It's easy peasy. Probably 30 minutes, man. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.